I felt a surge of power. It flowed through me, warm and bright. This was no ordinary power. This was the power to reshape the world. I saw visions of suffering. I saw war, famine and hatred. It saddened me deeply. I knew my purpose. I would use this power to bring peace. My reign would be marked by unity and prosperity.
Grand Emperor Alpha had always been a kind and just ruler. Yet this new power was different. It amplified his compassion. It gave him the strength to enact lasting change. He would heal the world. He would guide his people to a brighter future. His heart swelled with determination. The time for peace was now.
The world is fractured, divided by ancient rivalries and mistrust. For generations, the empires of Sanctity and Frosthaven have been locked in a bitter cold war. Their conflict poisons the land and fuels the flames of hatred. This has to end. I will be the bridge between these warring factions. My reign will usher in a new era of understanding and cooperation. Hope blooms in my chest. I hold the power to change destiny. I can forge a new path, one free from the mistakes of the past. It is a daunting task, but I am ready. The world is ready. I can feel it. The time for peace has come. My first decree is simple and profound. I declare an end to all wars. I call for a cessation of hostilities, a laying down of arms. Many scoff at my idealism. They call me naive. They say peace is an impossible dream, but I persevere. I know that true peace runs deeper than the absence of conflict. It requires understanding, empathy, and forgiveness.
Alpha traveled to the war-torn borders, the land scarred by generations of conflict. He met with the wounded, the grieving, the refugees. He listened to their stories, their pain, their fears. He offered them comfort and hope. He spoke of a future where their children would not know the horrors of war. His sincerity resonated with the people. They saw in him a leader who genuinely cared, who shared their longing for peace. Slowly, tentatively, the fighting began to subside. Weapons were laid down. Tentative dialogues began. The seeds of peace, sown by Alpha's compassion, began to sprout. The world held its breath. Could this really be the end of the long darkness? Could peace truly prevail? There were skeptics, of course, those who clung to the old ways of hatred and fear. But even they couldn't deny the change in the air. A new hope was dawning, a hope kindled by the unwavering belief of their emperor.
I believe in the inherent goodness of all beings. I see beyond the cultural differences that divide us. I recognize the shared humanity that binds us together. My next decree is one of unity. I proclaim that all cultures within my vast empire are to be respected and celebrated.
Alpha traveled far and wide, immersing himself in the rich tapestry of his empire. He learned their languages. He participated in their traditions. He shared their food and their stories. He embraced their differences as strengths, recognizing that diversity enriched their collective human experience. He encouraged cultural exchange programs. He commissioned the building of grand libraries and academies, where knowledge from all cultures could be shared and preserved. Artists, musicians, and storytellers from all corners of the empire were invited to his court. Their art became a vibrant tapestry, weaving together the threads of their diverse heritages. Alpha's genuine interest in other cultures, his respect for their traditions, and his celebration of their uniqueness resonated deeply with his people. The walls of prejudice began to crumble. In their place rose a spirit of curiosity, understanding, and mutual respect. His vision of a united empire, where diversity was not a source of division, but a cause for celebration, was slowly but surely becoming a reality.
I understand that lasting peace requires more than decrees and pronouncements. It requires a fundamental shift in consciousness, a change in the hearts and minds of my people. And so I embark on a new mission, to spread my message of unity and compassion throughout the land.
Alpha traveled from village to village, city to city, sharing his wisdom. He spoke of the futility of war, the destructiveness of hatred, and the interconnectedness of all beings. He taught the principles of empathy, forgiveness, and understanding. He emphasized the importance of dialogue, compromise, and cooperation. His words resonated deeply with the people. They had witnessed the transformative power of his leadership. They yearned for a better world, a world free from the shackles of the past. They embraced his teachings, taking them to heart and sharing them with their families and communities.
I established schools dedicated to peace. These institutions will become beacons of knowledge and understanding. They will teach conflict resolution, diplomacy, and non-violent communication. They will nurture future generations of leaders, diplomats, and peacemakers.
His teachings spread like wildfire, carried on the winds of change. They transcended borders and cultures, planting the seeds of unity in the hearts of people far and wide. A new generation was rising, a generation raised on the principles of peace, empathy, and understanding. The empires of Sanctity and Frosthaven had viewed each other with suspicion and hostility for generations. Their long and bitter rivalry had fueled countless conflicts, poisoning the land and dividing the people.
True peace will remain elusive as long as this chasm exists. We must bridge the divide and bring these two powerful empires together.
Alpha initiated diplomatic talks, inviting the leaders of both empires to meet on neutral ground. At first, the meetings were tense, filled with suspicion and mistrust. Old wounds ran deep, but Alpha, with his unwavering patience and quiet determination, persisted.
Remember our shared humanity. Think of the prosperity and progress that await us if we can learn to coexist peacefully.
He proposed joint projects, trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and collaborative research initiatives. Slowly, gradually, the ice began to thaw. The leaders, influenced by Alpha's sincerity and the growing desire for peace among their people, started to see each other in a new light.
We do have common ground, shared interests, and a mutual desire for a better future for our people.
Let us pledge to work together for the common good.
The signing of the Treaty of Eternal Harmony marked a turning point in history. The empires of Sanctity and Frosthaven, once locked in a bitter rivalry, pledged to work together for the common good. It was a testament to the transformative power of diplomacy, perseverance, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of peace. With the treaty signed, the empires of Sanctity and Frosthaven began the delicate process of integration. There were challenges, of course, cultural differences, conflicting ideologies, and the lingering shadows of past grievances.
We must navigate this complex path towards unity with wisdom and compassion.
Alpha encouraged dialogue, facilitated cultural exchange programs, and established joint governing bodies where representatives from both empires could work together. He knew that true unity extended beyond mere political alliances. It required a blending of cultures, a sharing of knowledge, and a celebration of diversity.
Let us commission the construction of grand universities and research centers where the brightest minds from both empires can collaborate.
He encouraged intermarriage, believing that families formed through love and understanding could serve as powerful symbols of unity. He supported the arts, recognizing the power of music, literature, and theater to bridge cultural divides and touch the human heart.
Our differences are not a source of division, but threads in a rich and vibrant tapestry.
Slowly, organically, the two empires began to weave together. Their differences, once sources of division, became threads in a rich and vibrant tapestry. A new generation, raised in an era of peace and cooperation, embraced their shared heritage. They saw themselves not as citizens of separate empires, but as members of one united people.
Section 7. Prosperity through Unity.
The unification of the empires of Sanctity and Frosthaven ushered in an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity.
With the spectre of war lifted, resources once poured into armies and weapons were redirected towards education, infrastructure, and innovation.
Trade flourished, facilitated by the free flow of goods and ideas. New technologies emerged, driven by the combined ingenuity of the two empires. The quality of life for all citizens improved dramatically. The eradication of poverty became a top priority.
Alpha, guided by his unwavering belief in the inherent dignity of every individual, implemented policies that ensured everyone had access to food, shelter, healthcare, and education.
Renewable energy sources were harnessed, replacing polluting fossil fuels. Cities were redesigned to be sustainable and eco-friendly. The environment, once ravaged by war and neglect, began to heal.
The arts and sciences flourished, fueled by the spirit of collaboration and the free exchange of knowledge.
Grand libraries and academies were established, becoming repositories of wisdom and centers of learning. Scholars, artists, and innovators from all corners of the unified empire flocked to these hubs of creativity, eager to contribute to the burgeoning Renaissance.
Section 8, An Age of Wonder.
The world entered a golden age. Freed from the shackles of conflict and division, humanity's collective genius soared to new heights.
Discoveries were made, inventions crafted, and masterpieces created that surpassed anything the world had ever seen.
Space exploration became a top priority. The unified empire, driven by a thirst for knowledge and a desire to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos, poured resources into building powerful telescopes, launching sophisticated probes, and eventually establishing a permanent base on the moon.
Medical science advanced by leaps and bounds. Diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries were eradicated.
Genetic research led to breakthroughs in understanding and treating a wide range of illnesses. Artificial intelligence, developed responsibly and ethically, revolutionized countless industries, from manufacturing to transportation to communication.
The pursuit of knowledge became a unifying force.
People from all walks of life, regardless of their cultural background or social standing, were encouraged to learn, to explore, to contribute to the ever-expanding pool of human understanding. It was an era where curiosity was celebrated, and the thirst for knowledge knew no bounds.
Section 9, Ascension.
As decades passed, Alpha's physical form began to fade. His teachings, however, had taken root, transforming the very fabric of society. The world had become a beacon of peace, unity, and prosperity.
The people, filled with gratitude and love for their emperor, watched as he prepared for his ascension. He had taught them that true leadership lay not in ruling, but in empowering others to reach their full potential. His work was done. The world was ready to continue his legacy.
In a ceremony filled with both joy and sorrow, Alpha ascended. Bathed in radiant light, he rose above the world he had transformed, leaving behind a legacy of peace, unity, and boundless potential. His teachings remained, etched in the hearts of his people. The institutions he established continued to thrive, guiding future generations. His story was passed down through generations, a timeless reminder of the power of compassion, the importance of unity, and the potential for positive transformation that resides within each individual.
Section 10. The Legacy of Peace.
Generations turned into centuries. The world Alpha left behind continued to flourish. Wars became a distant memory, a relic of a bygone era. The principles of peace, unity, and compassion, once considered utopian ideals, became the very foundation of society.
Children grew up learning about the emperor who had ushered in an era of unprecedented peace. Statues were erected in his honor, not as symbols of power, but as reminders of the transformative power of love, empathy, and understanding.
His teachings were woven into the fabric of education. Children learned conflict resolution, nonviolent communication, and the importance of embracing diversity. They were taught to see the interconnectedness of all beings, to value cooperation over competition, and to approach every interaction with kindness and respect.
The world was not perfect, of course. Challenges arose, disagreements occurred, and conflicts, albeit on a much smaller scale, still emerged.
But the tools for peaceful resolution were always available, deeply ingrained in the collective consciousness of humanity. The legacy of Grand Emperor Alpha lived on, not in monuments or statues, but in the hearts and minds of the people he had inspired. The world he had envisioned, a world where peace reigned supreme, where unity was celebrated, and where the pursuit of knowledge and the betterment of humanity served as guiding principles, became a shining testament to the enduring power of one individual to change the course of history.